Greetings my lords and my ladies, GMNikson is with you again, and first ever Alliance Supremacy Event is over, and it's high time to congratulate the winners Server 136, and make a short overview of how the battles unfolded and finally give my own feedback on whether this event is a W or an L. Major contenders in this event were servers 38, 56, 73, 136, 170, 209 and 231. That being said, regular season matches were pretty boring and straightforward, as the majority of the rest of the servers are rather inactive or completely void of players. Elimination phase, however, was more engaging and interesting, although was slightly unbalanced as well. Group A had a definitive leader, server 231, that had run through their enemies like knife through butter, all the way to the finals. Group B, on the other hand, had several interesting to watch matchups, first being 38 versus 73, which was a close call, as server 73 almost got through. First match, lane A, 18 out of 20 teams were defeated. Lane B, 19 out of 20 teams defeated. And lane C was after server 73. In the second match, lane A, once again 19 out of 20 teams defeated. Lane B, 15 out of 20 teams defeated. And lane C was after 73 again. As you can see, it was a close match. In the following matchup, where the Titan servers 38 and 136 clashed, the situation was pretty similar, but this time in favor of server 136. First match, and lane A, 18 out of 20 teams defeated. Lane B, 7 out of 20 teams defeated. And lane C was after server 38. Second match was pretty similar. Lane A, 17 out of 20 teams defeated. Lane B, 6 out of 20 teams defeated, and lane C was after server 38 once more. And now we're finally down to our two strongest finalists, servers 136 and 231, with server 136 being victorious, although server 231 did put up a fight for them. First match, lane A, 6 out of 20 teams defeated. Lane B, 16 out of 20 teams defeated, and lane C was after server 231. In the second match, at lane A, 7 out of 20 teams defeated, lane B, 11 out of 20 teams defeated, and lane C was after server 231 once again. My sincere congratulations to server 136, a victory well deserved. As we can see from all those highlighted matches, all servers decided to stick to two-lane strategy. Modify two lanes with your strongest players and almost completely give up on the last one. Now that we have given a brief overview to the matches of the event, let's talk about how good the event is and what can be improved. First of all, any new event is a big W no matter what, as the worst thing that can happen to any game is stagnation and lack of content. That being said, Alliance Supremacy has a lot of room for improvement, mainly in terms of teams management. It would be nice if players would be able to register their teams into one big pool, from which Alliance leaders could be able to pick the teams they think are most suitable to the designated lane. If it is a hard to implement feature, then at least there should be an option to move teams between lanes. In terms of balance, first iteration of this event was focused on older and more established servers. However, if developers plan to introduce this event in future on a more regular basis, they should start considering how to balance out the difference between older and newer servers, or create separate brackets. Finally, I would love to see the amount of teams used in the event expanded, as in a fully active 180 people alliance it was pretty hard to manage and accommodate all players to participate in the event, with the current team's count limit. Overall, I did enjoy the event personally and would like to thank the developers once again for this fun and joyful competition. Congratulations to the winners of the first Alliance Supremacy event once again, players of the server 136. And see you again in the Infinity Kingdom. Bye bye.